Okay, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's workshop. We are thrilled and excited to have our speaker on and to be able to bring such an important topic to our community. So Cassandra, before I do all of that and introduce our speaker, let you go ahead and introduce the organization and me.
That's fine. Hello, everyone. My name is Cassandra Taylor, and I am the founder and CEO of Top Flight Defense Incorporated. It's a nonprofit organization that was established by a woman veteran, myself, but we are catering to all women, not just veterans, but all women. And today we are going to start our first class under the leadership and guidance under Samira Moses. She is Top Flight Defense Financial Wellness Coordinator. Samira, take it from there.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Just a brief bio of myself. I've actually been in financial services a little bit over 3 years. My background is in counseling, so I left the counseling world of 16 years, doing private practice, working with a variety of different clients, but I last worked in healthcare, working with our seniors who need adequate health insurance and care by their providers. So switching gears over to this side of the industry has been amazing, using those counseling skills to then educate our community about finances, right? If we can build and encourage our communities about ways to grow, invest, work their money from week to week, month to month, that makes a difference in the family. So I'm very excited to be a part of the Top Flight Defense team, just to be able to bring amazing content to our communities to not only uplift women, that then uplift the family, right? Because it trickles down, right? It trickles down. So thank you again. I want to go ahead and introduce our speaker for the evening and her amazing topic that she's going to bring in her area of expertise. This workshop is entitled The Power of Real Estate Investing to Building Generational Wealth. That's a mouthful, right? What exactly does that mean? So hopefully you guys are here with an open heart, open mind, and ready to receive the information to then apply it and implement it and share with others that you know. So our speaker for the evening is Miss Sheri Brown Grosvenor. Did I say it correctly?
Almost Grosvenor.
Yes. Grosvenor, okay.
Yeah.
I got it now, right? You need that one little correction. So Miss Sheri Brown Grosvenor, she comes to us with over 30 years of experience in project management, real estate management, training, public speaking, and philanthropy, managing over $100 million in distributions over the past 18 years for community betterment. She learned the ropes in real estate from her parents, who owned and operated the family's construction firm from 1972 until the untimely death of her father in 2005. Her burning desire was to keep the family legacy alive and to apply what she learned since her youth about construction, real estate development, and establishing her own real estate investment company. She's also the vice president of Divine Developers Incorporated, which is a family-owned Florida licensed general contracting company. And her main goal is to teach people ways to wealth through, again, real estate investing and presenting opportunities that compel them to move the action to fulfill their dreams in real estate and build generational wealth. So her vast network of real estate investment professionals adds a unique strength and value to the company that yields significant return on interest. So we are excited to have her. And, can I just point out for the people, if it ain't obvious, that she's a powerful Black woman? Okay. So let's give a warm welcome to Miss Grosvenor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Samira. And thank you, Mrs. Taylor, for the opportunity to present to you all tonight. And hopefully this will be more of an interactive presentation so that you can ask me questions as I go through the content, or you can choose to wait until the end of the presentation to ask your questions. But I am truly delighted to have been asked to be a part of this series that you're running, because this topic is a topic of passion for me. As Samira read, I've been involved in real estate and construction since I was a young girl, watching my father grow his company into a successful construction company down here in South Florida. And back in the 70s and 80s, it was really difficult for a Black man to start and run a business such as his. Because when I look around today, I look at our South Florida area, and I don't see many Black general contractors and construction companies owned, by Black people. And it really just bothers me and bugs me, because it's an indication of structural racism, which we all have been privy to over the past year. It's bubbled up in the headlines, but it's been around for a long time. But structural racism has caused us to not be a part of the most effective and prolific wealth building tool, which is real estate. And we've been left out of that as far back to being promised the 40 acres and the mule, and never got the 40 acres. And it has been an intentional strategy to keep Black people from ownership, land ownership, and real estate ownership. It's been very intentional. It's been intentional in government policies. It's been intentional in covenants that have dictated who moves in which neighborhoods around this country. There's a book that a lot of folks are reading now that speaks a lot about the housing discrimination and how housing came to be as it is today, due to government policies and covenants where Black people just couldn't buy or purchase properties in certain areas. And so I feel that we're at a pivotal point in our history where we can challenge these racist laws and policies and really forge new ground in terms of building our wealth, and use the main tool that other folks in this country have used from the moment they stepped ground on the soil, on American soil, which is through real estate. And it starts, really as much as owning your own home that you live in. And many people don't realize the value proposition for themselves in owning their own home, especially when you look at people who have been in a cycle of renting. Their families never owned any property, so they don't have a mindset to own property. And so they get into the cycle of renting and not understanding that all that money that they're spending on rent could have been going towards building equity in their own home. And it's just really an education that that people need about real estate and how you can get started in it, and as far as your own personal home ownership. But what we're talking about today is how you can get into real estate from the standpoint of using it as a tool to build generational wealth. So with that, can you see my screen, Samira? I just want to make sure that perfect. And now let's see if we could get it to transition. We were challenged with this earlier with these slides. Let's see. Perfect. So my company is Ways to Wealth Real Estate Investments, LLC. And in our primary partner in our ventures is RE Wealth Advisors. They are a very strong partner with my company. And we work together to really change the lives of people across this country. And there's a picture of my assistant there who I was like, yeah, you have to get on here because I'm not a techie person. And she's obviously younger than I am. And I'm like, young folk, they know about this technology. So she's on to assist as needed, but she's a valuable team player for me. And she's my accountability partner, making sure that I do what I say I'm going to do with my busy schedule. But I'd like to introduce you to my company, Ways to Wealth Real Estate Investments. And we are simply a real estate investment firm and advisory firm. And we help people make their real estate investing dreams come true. And our partnership with RE Wealth advisors and many others bring to people over 200 years of combined experience in real estate. And our focus is really, looking at hardworking individuals who really desire to create generational wealth through real estate and helping them to make that happen. And it's all about growing the middle class, because we have to get out of the what do you call it, the rut, and look at how can we establish, resources and build a pipeline of resources that will stabilize ourselves, but also provide stability for our families and our heirs, once we're no longer here. And so the mission of Ways to Wealth REI is to just help people plan and for their real estate investment goals, to help create positive cash flow through real estate, increase their net worth, and create generational wealth. And all of that goes hand in hand. Positive cash flow, meaning you don't want to, get into something where you're losing money, right? So you have to use quite a bit of due diligence to make sure that your investments are profitable. Increasing net worth, that means, look at your debt to income ratio. If your debt exceeds your income, in Samara, this, you're a financial person, then you really got some work to do to reduce that debt ratio, because the less debt you have, the more your personal net worth increases. And people think net worth has to be in the millions, right? But net worth doesn't have to be in the millions. It could be in the tens of thousands or in the hundreds of thousands. But when you got debt hanging over your head and you can't move and sleep at night because of debt, then you're in a situation that you really need to try to work yourself out of. So we want to increase net worth while at the same time making sure that you're reducing debt. So I have to add that in there. And then, of course, create the generational wealth. And generational, when you think about the term generational, I think, we're all, smart enough to know it means building something that will be long-term and lasting for ourselves and our families or those who we care about. That is what we're talking about here. And so through my company, we do 5 things. We provide access and leverage capital to acquire real estate. We connect investors with real estate opportunities to meet their specifications. So we really work with people where they are and try to understand where they're trying to go with their real estate investing. We provide education such as tonight and mentoring to foster success. And then we provide consulting services where if a person is an investor or even already investing or a new investor, we look at the deals and try to help analyze, their value proposition and try to assist where we can. Because that sometimes is a challenge for folks, especially if they're new. And then our sweet spot is that we acquire the distressed properties, we rehab them, and then we sell them or rent them out for maximum profit potential. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through the presentation. And basically, this is kind of telling you what I just said. We value working with individuals who really are looking for ways to increase their net worth through real estate. That's what we specialize in, and we have a great network of folks to help us do that. So our process is pretty simple, but we'll talk more on that. So this is what people love to hear. They see this and they hear it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just so overwhelmed. Like when I click on Facebook, I see all these folks with these ads about, real estate and take this class, take that class on real estate. It sounds so exciting and intriguing, and it should be. It should be. I hope it is sparking your interest when you see those ads, and I'll talk more about that later. But real estate has created more millionaires and generational wealth than any other industry. Any other industry. I mean, when you go to school, go to college or whatever, they're not teaching us this. They're not telling us, that this is how you truly can increase your wealth quotient. They're teaching you a discipline, whether it's marketing or, the languages or engineering or whatever those different disciplines are. They're teaching you how to get a job, to work for someone, and to earn money, earn an income, and be an upstanding citizen and do, follow the American dream in that way. But there is another way that that people can pursue their dreams. They could be parallel to a career, because I actually have a 20-year career in philanthropy, and I still have that career because I love it, and it's stable, and it's very rewarding from a personal level and just a career financial level. But real estate is a part of what I do in addition to that. And that's because I truly believe that you can't have all of your eggs in one basket, especially when somebody else is signing your check. You've got to figure out, how do you make sure that you have a plan B no matter what, because you never know what will happen, but you have that plan B. In real estate and building generational wealth through real estate is a great plan B that you could actually do while you're working your full-time job. And people don't realize that you could use your full-time job or career, whatever you're doing, and that can serve as a basis to help you finance real estate over the long term, because that is one of the things you have to consider. And is what is the trajectory of your real estate strategy. But I say that to say, because people think that they can't do real estate if they're working. And it's like, no, that actually you're a great person to do real estate if you're working, because if you're trying to get funding, get lenders to loan money and all that kind of stuff, it looks good that you have a stable job, you have an income, and you have some stability. People are more likely to loan you money for your real estate. But this is something that really holds true. And landlords get rich in their sleep. If you ask anybody who owns a substantial amount of real estate, what keeps them up at night, they're probably going to say maybe a call about some plumbing issue, at one of their properties. They probably have a property manager manage that, but nothing really keeps them up at night. I mean, they're sleeping and growing rich as we all are hustling and bustling out here working, right? So the question I have for the group is, if we know that real estate is the way to build generational wealth, then why don't most people invest in real estate, right? I don't know. You can unmute yourself if you want to speak and just answer that question for me. Why don't most people invest in real estate? And they know it. They get excited when they see people talking about it. They may want to do it, but they just don't.
Maybe lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence. Yes, that's certainly one.
Or maybe don't have the money.
Don't have the money. True. And there's that's an interesting response to that.
People don't want to be bothered and running after folks to get their money and being, wind up having to spend more money in repairing what other people have messed up with their property.
Yeah, kind of like the fear of it all, like falling flat, right? Not being successful in whatever the venture is.
And Sheri, from the chat, just want to share from the chat some that responded. I don't know if everyone spoke up, but someone said they don't want the headache of dealing with other people not paying their rent, right? So you walk into this investment opportunity, you're stuck with the mortgage because your tenant doesn't want to pay the rent. And then someone did what you just said, fear of failure and lack of information.
Very good. Those are all excellent answers, and they're all very, very true. And actually with the response about, the headache of dealing with people not paying their rent, there is definitely a way where you could overcome that. If you have rental property, which is by using the government subsidies that are provided with people, and basically the government becomes your payor. It's called Section 8 housing, and basically those are vouchers that low income people who qualify can get, and that actually covers their rent, and that's pretty much a really good security for making sure you don't have to deal with those headaches of people not paying their rent. So I just offer that as a little tip on that.
Sheri?
Yes.
Sheri, but isn't there also a downside? And I'm not being a wet blanket or a Debbie Downer, but isn't there also a downside with using the Section 8? Because I know people that have done it, and you have your building or your house have to have certain criteria to meet the government standards in order before they can approve that, though.
That's correct. And actually those standards are not a bad thing, honestly, because what, what you want to do is provide people with safe and affordable housing. You want to be safe and affordable. And so really the requirements that the government have for Section 8 housing are really making sure that the house is safe and it won't cause any harm or danger to the tenants. And basically those inspections are just to make sure of that. But really nothing more. I actually used to work for the housing authority, so I'm pretty well versed in how that process worked. And it wasn't a deterrent for people at all, where they think, oh, the government's going to be, down my back or anything like that. It's like it kind of avoids slumlords in deterioration of communities. And people don't see that, but that actually helps. I think this actually helps in certain ways with those safety safeguards that landlords have to put in place.
Clearing that up for me. Thank you.
Yeah. So all of those are really great answers, and none of them are incorrect. But what I have found is that the number one reason why people don't invest in real estate is they really just don't know how to get started. They really don't know how to get started. They may have a strong desire to invest in real estate, but they find themselves like kind of stuck. Like they may have money, or they may not have money. They may be able to access money if they don't have it personally, but they are really unsure how to get started. They probably, Google and look up properties and just kind of pour over them and just kind of have this dream of, wow, I wish I could make a move or step out and do this. But they really are unsure how, what steps, how to really use a process so that they are successful. And so what tends to happen is if they don't know how to get started, they get stagnant. If you don't start, then you're stagnant. That's my philosophy. So you have to kind of, take a leap of faith and jump out there and get started. But there's a way to get started so that you're less averse to failing as you venture to real estate. And it's not saying that you won't have any, failures, quote unquote, but there's a way to get into real estate where you would lessen the chances of doing that. And I'm going to go through a few slides that cover that. So when you're looking at building, just close these out, looking at building wealth with real estate, there are 5 things that are critical to getting started. And you really should look at each of these steps as very critical. Like don't ignore any of these. I mean, I apply all of these to my investing. And the first one is setting a goal or goals, right? And so when you're looking at setting a goal, let's see how I get this slide to go again. Okay. When you're looking at setting a goal for real estate, it really boils down to the math. Where, how are you envisioning your financial future, right? What type of income are you looking to make today? And what type of income are you projecting or hoping you would make in the next 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, and on? Now, I usually plan my life out in increments of 5, but now with the pandemic, I'm like, increments of 2, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, 1 year exactly. The time frame is lessened a little bit, but whatever your time frame might be, it needs to be a goal that you're actually writing down on paper and that you're constantly revisiting. And you look at that goal in terms of what is your driver. Is it retirement income? Are you really looking at, okay, I'm good right now, I'm pretty much okay, but I want to make sure I can retire and maintain my lifestyle. I think that's a concern of many people who work every day and they think, okay, I'm going to have to work till I'm 70 years old because I can't afford just to live off my Social Security. I don't know if that's a concern you guys have, but that is certainly a concern that I have in my mind. Like, I don't want to just have to depend on Social Security. I want to be able to maintain a certain lifestyle without it being dependent on Social Security. And I don't want to work till I'm 80, 75 and 80. I don't want to be a Walmart greeter, like hanging out, and working because I have to, right, at that age. So, is your driver retirement income? Is it that you're at a place where you're like, okay, I want to make sure I have money to pay for my kids' college, or even grandkids' college, right? That's the generational wealth aspect of it. Leaving wealth for your heirs. I want to accumulate enough money that I have something not just to give to my family when I'm gone, but I want to be able to help support my family now. That's generational wealth. I think people always think I have to leave it behind, but the Lord, well, I don't put the spirituality in it, but you can be set up in a way where you can through your real estate investments be a blessing to people right now while you're here, and enjoy the fruits of your labor with the people that you love. That is my new philosophy around generational wealth building. And yes, I will have something to leave behind for them as well as a result of my real estate investing. Do you need cash flow today? If you need cash flow today, then you're obviously looking at another model within real estate that we'll talk about. And then maybe you want to give to charity and help others. I work in philanthropy, and I see a lot of people that leave their wealth to the animals, because their cat and their dog was their best friend, and they leave everything to their pets and things like that. So you have to know, do the math, and come up with the number, that makes sense for you and what you want to achieve, and look at your driver, because these drivers are what will keep you focused, right? I mean, that's what a goal is all about. You want to have something you're aiming towards. And so if you write it down and keep your eye on the prize, so to speak, then you'll be more focused as you venture into your real estate opportunities. The second thing that you need to do if you're looking to build generational wealth through real estate is to decide on your strategy. Okay, decide on your strategy. And there's several strategies that you can pursue. The first strategy is possibly considering passive real estate investment. And this type of real estate investment does not require any direct management, by you. Basically, you're investing your capital and not your time. In passive real estate investing can be done again on a part-time basis, or as you wish to invest. It's a great way to diversify your portfolio and not just be like directly involved in the business. And then it provides for a great long-term strategy for retirement planning. So passive is, as we were talking earlier, owning a rental property, and if you're netting $500 a month off a rental property, and that's just going into your bank account each month, is that a good thing for you? Extra 500 that you're not having to really think about is additional income, for you and your family, and going into some type of account that provides you with that retirement plan, or it could be going into an account that we're going back into more real estate to keep increasing your real estate portfolios. But passive is kind of hands off, if you want to look at it that way. And the different ways to get involved in passive real estate investments include, working with a real estate development company and buying into that company if they offer stocks, or you can be a part of a company as an equity partner. So for example, if a company has an apartment building they're acquiring, or they have acquired and they are offering up, I guess, like shares or profit share for you to be a part of that investor in that complex, then they might offer you a certain percentage, and then that percentage is paid to you on whatever schedule that is worked out with that real estate development company. That is a very popular model that people are using now to diversify their portfolio to include real estate, because on your own you can't go and buy that complex. But if you could get 5%, 10% return off that, I can tell you my savings account, I think they'll probably pay like it used to be 0.2% on the savings account. Money market used to generate a good percentage over having a checking account. Now money market accounts are like 0.8, there's nothing 1 point anything at the banks when it comes to like interest on your or dividends you earn on your savings or checkings or money market accounts and those types of things. That it's like down to 2. So it's like just having money sitting in a bank is just doesn't make sense if you're trying to like, you can't save yourself to wealth. Let me just tell you that. You can't save yourself to wealth in a bank account. So real estate development company options is one way for passive real estate income. Co-investor. Now this is a really great strategy. That's where you're pooling your capital with a group of investors and you're purchasing real estate assets, right? So it's not just you, but you're working within a group. And I'm going to give more examples of that later too. But you're working with a group of investors. And then whatever you are, similar to real estate development companies, but whatever you're investing in, you all share on the profits of that. And usually that's in the form of some type of holding, real estate holding. And then with passive investments, it really doesn't cost a whole lot to get started because it just depends on how you are negotiated into a deal. In terms of what your investment will be and what percentage you will earn off of that investment. Now, active real estate investment is very action oriented. This is where you do get your hands a little dirty there, and you're involved in the process. And so there are a couple different aspects of active real estate investing. Number one, you have the option of looking or investing in residential properties, which is a house, a condo, or any kind of unit that's under 4 units is considered residential property, or you can invest in commercial properties such as multifamily. And I bold multifamily because that is truly a sweet spot when you're trying to build generational wealth. When you have, and it's really simple. If you have a 10-unit apartment building and you have 2 vacancies, you're still getting rent off 8, right? You're still able to cover that mortgage. Versus if you have a duplex and you have 2 vacancies, you're getting no monthly income off of that. Or 1 vacancy, you're losing a lot. So multifamily generates the most profit. It's very attractive for people who are looking to invest in real estate actively. It can also, commercial properties also include office buildings and shopping plazas and things like that. But multifamily is truly, I think, a sweet spot that we all should look at for our investing. And then when you're an active investor and you have so many projects going on, sometimes you may not be able to manage those projects on your own. So you may have to employ a management company, a property management company, and they kind of handle all the plumbing issues, anything that comes up with that property. You kind of let them shoulder all of that responsibility, and you pay them a fee, percentage, usually it is, to handle that for you. And that kind of frees you up to be more active in your investing. And then the last one is active home investing can be very profitable, just as passive home investing can be, but it may require more time to get started when you're talking about home investments. They're profitable, but it does require time because you're looking at rehabbing and things like that. But we'll talk about that in another slide. So once you kind of determine one of your strategies, the one that I think a lot of people like to know more about is house flipping. I think HGTV has turned us all on to flipping houses and things like that. And it's like, oh, it looks so easy, right? Well, it can be easy, but there's a lot that goes into flipping houses. And this is a very active real estate investment strategy, because what you're trying to do is find properties whose prices are below the market value, so that you could do whatever the rehab you have to do, whatever, and then sell that property and make a profit off of it. So you have to be very strategic going into house flipping. It's very profitable, but it's work. It is work, but it's a good work if you get the outcome that you're looking for. And our team does a lot of this, quite a bit of house flipping, because of the strategy that we use that I'll share with you. And then what you do is you kind of, if you're an active investor, then you're not just doing one flip, right? you're taking some of that profit and you're putting it into another project. And that's kind of how flipping goes. One flip, you're not going to get rich. You're not going to build generational wealth off one flip. So let me be clear on that. When you're looking at real estate and building generational wealth, the strategy is really long-term. That's what you really have to think about. It's a long-term strategy. It's not just a one and done. Because if it's one and done, you're not building anything. You're just flipping a property, making some money. You might go spend that money on something or save a little bit of it, but you're not being strategic. You're just flipping a property. So really think about how you're entering into real estate. And my advice would be to enter with a long-term strategy in mind, not just one and done. The third key piece to building generational wealth through real estate is you have to work with a trusted team. And my company and RE Wealth Advisors, and my partner Patrick is on the line. He's going to jump on and give a little talk in a moment. Is to work with a trusted team. If you're really trying to be in this in a serious way and building your real estate portfolio, it's very hard to do it by yourself. And I learned that, personally, that it's very hard to do it by yourself. You need people. Everybody is going to eat, no matter how, everybody will eat. I mean, but it's okay, because if you're building a real estate portfolio, 1 + 1 truly does equal 5. Okay. 1 + 1 does not equal 2. 1 + 1 = 5. And what I mean by that is it is probably more profitable if you have a team working with you and you're profit sharing with that team versus you're trying to do it all on your own and shouldering all that risk and putting all your money out there on one project. You could work with a team and have several different projects that you're profiting from. And that is one of the true benefits of working with a team. And you're able to leverage all of these resources you need in order to invest in real estate. Every single real estate investment has these folks involved at one level or another. If you're flipping a property or you need to rehab it, you probably got architects involved. You have to have contractors involved. So think about if you have to shoulder all of this by yourself and keep doing that over and over again, it could be pretty challenging and quite exhausting. So a trusted team is really beneficial, and that is why I'm really grateful that my company, RE Wealth Advisors, work hand in hand on our projects. And so someone mentioned capital earlier. Make sure I'm within time. Mentioned access to capital. So people think they don't have money, right? I thought I didn't have money when I started real estate, investing in real estate. I actually thought, I was like, I really don't have any money. But then I realized I actually had some money, but I didn't think about how I could deploy that money for real estate investing. It just didn't dawn on me until the light bulb went off, and I got serious about my real estate business. So number one, you have to plan your investment strategy. And you see all these things I have listed here. These are all the different ways you can access capital. Personal savings, obviously. Retirement plans. If you have a 401k or a 401 or a 403b, you can actually pull money out of those plans and you can use that money for whatever you want. It's like a loan to yourself. And wouldn't it be awesome if you did pull money from yourself, borrow it from yourself, and leverage that into real estate, flip the profit, then paid yourself back, then borrow it from yourself again before that interest hit, flip a property, pay yourself back. There's a strategy. So people say they don't have money. I'm like, do you have a retirement plan? Do you have, think about those different resources that you can tap to come up with your capital. Obviously investment funds. So interestingly, I actually used my son's college fund for my real estate investment because I'd saved up quite a bit in an investment fund. That was the strategy I chose to save up for his college. And, I had about $50,000 in there. And I'm like, okay, I can actually kind of pay for his college, out of pocket. And I'm like, why do I just have this money sitting in this investment fund, which was only making a certain amount of return each year? And when I can leverage it in real estate. And that is, and that is what I did. And then I was able to reinvest back into that fund, because again, if you're building generational wealth, you want to have a diversified portfolio. Real estate is one aspect of it. If you look at a pie chart, it's one aspect of it. You want to have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and all that. Real estate is a part of it. So you can leverage what's in your portfolio, those different slices, to feed another component of your strategy, your wealth building strategy. And I don't think people really think about how they can leverage their own resources in that way. And obviously you have, private lenders, banks, friends and family. They're sometimes there's sometimes a hit or miss with friends and family. Sometimes you don't even want to deal with family, right? But they are an option. And then co-investors I have found to be a really great option. And that is what my company specializes in, is looking at how we get co-investors to come to the table and invest in projects. So access to capital is a real consideration, but it should not be a hindrance, because there's a way you can piece monies together to come up with capital to invest, and then keep reinvesting that profit. And lastly, continuous education is a part of your wealth building strategy. In simply, it's books, seminars, master classes, and I would say when it comes to seminars and master classes and things like that, make sure it's from a trusted source. Anybody who is saying, pay me like $2,000 and all that kind of craziness to show you the ropes and all that, honestly, that's how they're making their money. They're not making their money in real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing this for free because I don't need to charge to share this information with people. This is not my bread and butter to make money off workshops. And I think people are kind of getting into people's psyche around real estate for their own personal gain, and not really, you know what I'm saying? They don't really practically get out there and do it. So just be careful on seminars and master classes that you invest in. And I have attended seminars and master classes and things like that, but they are from proven, trusted sources where I can talk to that person. I'm going up to them and I'm talking, and I have their phone number where I can reach them. You know what I mean? It's not like Dan Merrill, not to knock anybody, but some of these big name folks that you see paying a bunch of marketing money for TV exposure, and it's really just a money meal for them on their classes and seminars and things. The other helpful tool is real estate clubs. You probably have real estate clubs up in Chicago. We have several down here. And basically this is where you get some good networking in, where you meet people, you meet lenders, you meet title people, you meet private hard money lenders. They provide real life, real time education. They do boot camps and tours, and actually walk you through processes. So local real estate clubs are a good source for education. And then I think the last one, which is I think most important, is mentors. Having someone who's really working in this field and doing it well to teach you and guide you, mentor you, and then ultimately partner with you. So with that, I'm going to get into a little bit of how example of how we are successful in what we do. We are building our generational wealth by using the strategy of off-market real estate. And what that means, we're finding properties that you typically will not find on MLS, which is what the realtors use. And these are properties that are like bank owned, that are not advertised. They could be auctions. They could be word of mouth properties. They could be portfolios that are held by a company that is going out of business or selling off, real estate. There are different ways to find these off-market real estate properties, but this is where you're going to make your most money. It's off-market real estate. If you're using MLS, every other investor and every other person is using that same MLS, and they're going after those same properties that you're trying to go after. And so I can share with you that the problem is that people are trying to acquire, they're challenged to acquire these off-market properties. And the thing about off-market properties, they need a lot of work. That's the thing. They need a lot of work. You have to really invest a lot in the rehab. And so if an individual is trying to acquire an off-market property and they don't have all the resources to bring that property to retail value, then they might think twice before they acquire that property. And because you do have to have capital to fix up these properties. But if you're working within a network of people who specialize in off-market properties, then you are leveraging all of their resources to get this done, and you're making a nice profit. And that is what we do. So I'm going to have Patrick come on and share with you guys an example, so you can see real life example of the day in the life of a flip, right? This is how we assess our deals and how we are successful in what we do. So I want to show you a good example of this. And I have to go to, okay, where is it? Okay. Is this on your screen? Is that on? No, it's not. Okay, let me try it again. Okay, what about now? It says Jacksonville residential. Can you guys see that?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, we
great.
can see it.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to introduce Patrick Dean. Patrick is really a brother who has just a heart of gold to want to help people achieve their real estate dreams. He and I partnered a couple of years ago and have been doing great business together and sharing this wealth of information and access to opportunities with folks who really want to get going. And we're doing some investing in Jacksonville, Florida. And so, Patrick, I'm going to have you talk a little bit about this project and how kind of run the group through the process that we use to evaluate and invest and flip these properties.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
real quick, I'm sorry, Patrick, before you get started, we just want to be respectful of time. If those of you can stay on past 7, obviously this information is amazing. We invite you to stay on. We do want to maybe stop around that 7 o'clock mark just to do a Q&A with people that may have questions from your first half before, kind of getting into the skinny of things. So I don't know if you want to do that now and then have Patrick present, or how you want to handle that.
Let me let Patrick present, because they're probably going to have some great questions after you see what a proposal looks like on a deal. This is real life deal here. Patrick, you can tell me where to stop in here for the example.
Yeah, sure. So good evening, everyone. And it's certainly a pleasure to be part of this forum. And I truly commend you all ladies, the Top Flight Defense company, nonprofit. I really count it a pleasure to be a part. I truly believe each one should teach one, and not just to be lip service, but to actually get out and do it. There's nothing like taking action, and this right here, where we're at right now, what we're doing at this place in this time is creating change, we're effecting change, and I'm just so happy to be a part. And because of the time, I will move quickly. Just really quick, I've been in this investment, bank finance, investment banker, secondary market trader, mortgage broker, and we have a wealth advisory firm, which we partner with Sheri, and we're doing some amazing work. This property right here is one of a few properties that we have acquired in the Springfield area of Jacksonville. We were very strategic. A lot of research went into the area, and maybe we need to have another call regarding how to source properties in the off market. But this is an asset here that we picked up for $85,000, and the ARV meaning after repair value, is $290,000. So now that we know what the ARV is, 290,000, which was based on other comparables within that subdivision, those other properties that had this a similar square footage, bedroom, bathroom count, or maybe in the case here, this particular property is a 4.3, but it's going to be a 4.4 if I'm not mistaken, after the rehab. I think let me see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, currently it's a It's a 4-bedroom with 3 bathrooms. There's no master suite. We're going to make a master suite upstairs. We're going to expand the kitchen area, and all of this will be done. You're looking at a rehab budget of $115,000 to bring this property to $290,000. So, and
Can I stop you right quick?
yes,
This is the same place, or
this
is it
is
two
what,
different places?
yeah, this is what it's going to look something like this when it's all said and done. So,
Okay, so the picture to the left
it's
is
as
what
is.
it is now. The
Correct.
picture to the right is what your rehab is going to make it look like.
That is correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Carry
And
on.
great question. And not only
Mhm.
that, I wish we had more interior pictures, but we can always add that to a marketing deck. Just from crown molding, how we're going to change the staircase, creating 2 bedrooms that have master closets. It's just amazing the work that we're going to do, in this property, which is all predicated off of the other homes that are within the subdivision that have been fully rehabbed or recently sold. So we look for the best of the best. So we're looking for, the properties that are blighted. We're looking for those that are in desperate need of repair. We're looking for distressed situations. And I hate to say it this way, it's either the property is distressed or the individual is distressed.
Right.
And it usually goes hand in hand. And this is the needle in the haystack. It's like we're searching for that, that diamond in the rough. And this is a diamond in the rough that we realize that, from an acquisition of 185, 115 in, conservative, we're looking at selling this property at 290,000. And that is conservative because we have just completed the house that is maybe about 6 to 8 blocks away. We purchased that house for about the same amount, maybe about 80,000. And we've just completed the rehab, and the appraisal just came back at 385,000.
Wow.
Oof.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So Sheri, she prefaced earlier, I think the national average on flips are probably somewhere around 20 to 30,000. But in that scenario, we're making over $200,000 on one flip, on one
Mhm.
single family. And in 2021, we have been averaging, or in the past 12 months, we're somewhere around $125,000 per flip.
Mhm.
But this is a unique market, and Florida is one of the best states to be in, if not the best states for real estate. So to get into this investment, we allow folks to take on an equity position, which is ownership, or a debt position. Debt position just simply means that you, the individual who is bringing the $100,000 in this case to invest, you become the bank. You're the lender. You're the lender, and
Mhm.
Sheri and I, our company, we're the borrower. And what we're giving you is a guaranteed 8% return in 6 months. Why? Because we know our rehab is done in 4 months based on contingencies. If something goes wrong, we'll have another month. So we should be able to return the investment safely within a 6 months time frame. And say that there's an act of God and we have a COVID outbreak and it's a variant called Zeta, or who knows what may happen, right? Well, the cool thing about this is that there is safety. There are safety measures in all of our investments because we already have the equity built in where we could actually refinance and exit the investor if we see that we're not able to meet the 6-month term. Or
Mhm.
what happens here is that after the rehab, we don't have to put it on the market to sell it right away. We can use what you all may be familiar with, the BRRRR methodology. We then refinance it based on the new evaluation of 290,000, get the cash out, exit you, and then we maintain the property if we want passive income from that asset, or we're going to sell it because we know we'll get a minimum of 290. But it's safety. And this is really good for novice investors where you're not exposed to high risk, and it's much safer, and it has a higher measure of safety based on other properties that have sold within the past 6 months to 1 year. So you can see what the properties are going for. And in this neighborhood, you have these same assets that are going for anywhere from $300 to about $500,000, just depending on what area of the division you're in, or the historical side is a little bit more. This side is not necessarily historical, but you see, we have a house that just appraised for $385,000. So these are great investments. Your money is backed by the equity in the property, as well as oftentimes there is money already in escrow where we'll get funding from a private money bank,
Right.
because we believe in not necessarily, using our own funds. There's nothing like leveraging someone else's money. So we would leverage the bank to get us 100% what they call loan to cost on the construction, but we won't touch it. We just leave it there as a safety net, safety measure for us. And then we can take actually that money at the end when it comes back to us and acquire another property with those funds. Meanwhile, we've benefited our partners where if any one of you ladies or collectively were to invest 100,000, well, look at it. That's 8% return. That's an annualized return of 16% per year. Where you're going to make a guaranteed 16% per year.
Right.
Because although this property may just be a 6-month term, but guess what? You can, come back and reinvest in another project that will yield the same type of ROI.
Thank you, Patrick. That's a really great example. And I'm glad you pointed out the 8%, because people don't understand the, what a percentage really means. Like I said, you don't get that on the same amount in your bank account is not going to yield 8%, 0.2%, maybe, if that. And,
Well,
and
Sheri,
this is a 6-month term. So
yeah, if I may just interject just really quick, sorry to interrupt you. Actually, Merrill Lynch has a special right now. If you invest 100,000, they give you 1% for the year.
Crazy. That's crazy. I would just never. I just wouldn't. But this is a great example. But this is what we do, all day long. And like I said, we, our specialty is the off-market properties, the ones that everybody else will pass by. They see the grass growing up really high. That's too much but we'll put a lot of money into rehab. But that's because the comps in the area are so great, and we can put that property and make, make a huge return on it. So it's a strategy that I have to give Patrick credit for creating, and plus the strategy on how we enter people into our deals, so they do become equity partners or become loan partners on the deals. But either way, it's a great entry into real estate investing. And again, you look at it for the long term, and you do it over and over and over again. Before you know it, you have a nice nest egg that you're looking at in your accounts. So
Sheri, really quick, I want to ask you, I don't know if you had addressed it. I didn't hear it, but I may have missed it. How does someone become an equity partner?
Okay, Patrick, equity partner, that's a really sweet one. You talk about the spree.
Yeah, no. So now that's actually the $1 million question there. And I love it, and I compliment you, because that is the big question. So, and to be honest with you, I feel that is the ultimate question. However, I believe people should get in where they fit in. If you have capital or you don't have capital, we have other ways of obtaining capital. Once your credit score is at a 680, we can talk about leveraging lines of credit and so forth. But to answer that question spot on, well, you would become, a partner, a client of our partnership. And then what we do here is, once we do a full analysis on what you're looking for and what your goals are, and we'll develop a profile, and then we go out and source assets being properties to fit your specific need. This is just for you. So we're not we're not the realtors, although we do have a realty company, but we're not the realtors who are just going to go in the MLS and buy things at retail. That makes no sense. That's being a penny wise, a dollar foolish, you know? So we're going to take that time and find you that, you know, that diamond in the rough. And it doesn't matter where it's at, because a deal is a deal.
Yeah.
And we run our full analysis to make sure that, hey, this property, after we acquire the property, we source it, we close, we fully acquire the property. We understand what the rehab, our rehab cost or construction cost, and we understand what our after repair value will be. Our after repair value needs to be at a minimum of a 2x equity multiple, or we don't find the, or we will not acquire that deal. Also, we look for value add, you know, especially when we get to multifamily, be it 5 units or more, and then there's really some special magic that happens there. And everyone should be working towards commercial assets, 5 units or more, because that's when life gets really good for you, and that's where passive income really, you really maximize the passive income when you have 5 units or more. But you just, register, become a partner. And then we understand what your needs are. And then we source those assets and we run the analysis with you. And we tell you, hey, if you come in at 50% with us, well, you're getting 50%. If you come in at 30%, well, it'll be a 70-30 split or a 60-40. But we provide that opportunity to our members.
Thank you, Patrick. And
Yes.
obviously, you guys can work with individuals not only in Florida, right?
Correct.
Oh no, I mean, we have,
Yeah.
we have clients in South America, the Caribbean, Canada. Yeah.
Question in the chat, if you guys can name the program that you guys are with. We had someone that came on and they wanted to know the name of your company.
Oh, our company is, I'll go to the slide. Can you see the slides that I have up? Okay, okay. I'll put that slide up for them. Ways to Wealth, Real Estate Investing, and RE Wealth Advisors.
Okay.
I'll put as soon as I can get this slide working.
While you're working on that, it seems like our guests are holding, so they are intrigued. I wanted to go ahead and open it up for Q&A. So does anyone have a dying question? I know I have many. I don't want to overtake the talk. Okay. But does anyone have any questions that at this time from Sheri's part and then Patrick's spiel that you want to pose out to either of them? Even if it's to repeat something, clarify something, this is the time to ask those questions.
I just want to know, Sheri, we got to talk because I need to get in.
Same here.
That's a good thing. That's definitely like Patrick said. Yes, we will get you in where you fit in.
Yes,
but it's a beautiful thing to get started, and that's what we provide, the opportunity to get you started. And once you get started, you just keep going. Honestly, there's no reason to stop. Yes.
How long has your company been open or been providing these services?
Patrick, your company has been around for.
Yeah, so RE Wealth Advisors has been around, maybe we're like in our 7th year now. We're in our 7th year. The realty company is maybe about 12 years. It went from Dean Realty to Real Estate Wealth Advisors. The wealth advisory firm, that's RE Wealth Advisors. I've been in this, the financial space investing space for 21 years now, at a pretty high level. From banking, investment banking, to having my own correspondent lending outfit, to having my current wealth advisory company where we have monies under management as well as assets under management. And we work with the various different buckets. And what I mean by buckets, family offices, hedge funds, pension funds, private money, which is the same as hard money, and some institutional investors as well. That allows us to cherry pick on deals that are in their portfolio. And all this is for the benefit of our clients, our partners, our stakeholders, and in real estate, the only people who make single-digit returns are people who, for the most part, lack the education, and most people are in the dark, and that's intentional. Even if you look at, you can go to Bloomberg and you see the pie charts. The pie charts are designed to be short. It doesn't show you the full scope of what's going on. This is why, you look at hedge funds where it was uncovered. Everybody else in the banking world was making 8 to 10%, S&P's 8 to 10%, but hedge funds were making 150% because they never exposed the true margin. And for us, some of you may be familiar with Grant Cardone when he talks about 10X. Yeah, 10X is an ideal, but the truth of the matter is he's really making 5X to 10X on deals. But many of the people that are underneath him may be making only 10 to 15%, but that's excellent. But at the end of the day, they're not sharing the wealth.
Right.
The difference with us, we're sharing the wealth. We're saying, hey, don't get in retail, get in at wholesale with us. It's a big pie. Everybody can get a piece of this pizza, just come on in. We just look for desire to receive more by way of education. There has to be an insatiable appetite to improve one's life, to change the trajectory, to have generational wealth, or to build on, what was provided to you. And that's what we do. We break down the trade secrets, and all in an effort so that you can become partners with us and we grow together. And the ultimate goal is generational wealth, where us as a people, we literally don't have it at all. And just knowing a few little trade secrets, and it doesn't matter if you have no money or no credit, there's a solution for that as well. But get in where you fit in. But for those, I tell people, you'll be surprised, even as little as $50,000, you can grow that, so quickly over a 2 to 3 year time span. You'll be so surprised the amount of money that you'll accumulate.
Thank you, Patrick. And we're going to go ahead, Sheri, if you can share some last words, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. And we would love to have you back for a part 2, because, oh my God, it's hard to, put all of this into one. It's just really difficult. So we'll have you come back and kind of dissect some things, see trending in the fall, or things that people should be doing, or specifically, let's talk about equity partners versus, real partnership, maybe talking about that and get people back on that are kind of ready to get rolling,
Sure, absolutely. I'd love to come back. In my company, Ways to Wealth Real Estate Investments, we formalized our LLC a couple of years ago, but I've been involved for my intro in real estate investing for a number of years. I started actually like 15 years ago buying land, actually, buying lots, and I saw it as an opportunity, where I could pick up all these lots for a couple $1,000s and look at the trajectory of those communities as far as turning into retirement communities, years later. And it proved to be a good way, to start investing. And then from there, I just wanted to leverage all of my knowledge and my ambition to grow my company. And that's where Patrick and I kind of met up, where we found that we would be complementary to each other in achieving our goals. And so it's been a very fruitful relationship with Patrick's company. And basically, I think the slide that I showed you guys, as far as even the last nugget for you, I think the most important one, it would be a team, because you can do so much more when you have a team behind you, and when you're working with trusted people who have the know-how and the passion, and have your interests at heart. Because people can be really selfish and want to take it all, but we're very transparent in all of our work. We're transparent with you know, the numbers. What you see is what it is. And there's just a very trusted relationship that we have and how we pursue our deals and bring people
Sheri,
into our deals.
are you and Patrick in with the same company, or are you with a different company?
I have my own company, LLC, and Patrick has his own LLC. So
What is the name of yours, Sheri? I wanted to know the name of yours.
Yes, mine is Ways to Wealth Real Estate Investments, LLC.
And what is yours, Patrick?
RE Wealth Advisors. RE Wealth Advisors.
So what is it that, do you both do the same? Ooh, excuse me. You do the same thing, or you partner with one another and Patrick does one thing and Sheri, you do another? How is that working?
So we work synergistically. So Patrick has his own company, as he described, and then I have my own real estate investment company. So we basically have the same goal in mind in what we're doing. Patrick has the ability and expertise in sourcing the real estate. He in running those numbers how you saw on that screen. That is a specialty that he brings that complements my company. And in my company, I do a number of things. I either find properties as well and bring them to Patrick and say, Patrick, here's something we need to look at and co-invest. And he does the same thing with me, share like that property you showed me. Here's a property we have. What do we want to do? So we basically bring our resources to the table, and we determine how to best move forward. But we are two separate companies, but we work together, I guess you would say, as a joint venture. Patrick, is that kind of how we are structured on certain things?
Absolutely. Definitely it's a joint venture.
So for example, I called Patrick earlier today. I was like, hey, we need to have a conversation. I got like 2 or 3 properties in the pipeline and I need some money.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how we're going to acquire these properties because they look like they're really good deals. And so, you know, we work with each other in that way. If you are a partner, you come in and want to be a part of a deal. What we do is, as you just saw tonight, we look to see what's in the portfolio. It could be a multifamily property. It could be a flip. It could be a number of things. And we present the opportunity to our investors, and they can decide, you know, and negotiate with us how they want to negotiate in a deal, how they want to be a part of a deal. But it could come either way, from his angle or from my angle. But we just found that our work was so synergistic in our goal to help people build generational wealth. We were like, oh, we definitely need to work together.
Yeah, correct. These are investments that are first tiered. It's first tiered information. Unlike by the time you see something on television or you hear about it on the radio, where it's second tier, third tier information, is too late. This is, you know, I equate it to, you know, acquiring something wholesale. We find these properties, it's first tier information. We move on it, and then we offer this to our partners, our team, or Sheri and I will say, hey, Sheri, I have some excellent properties, certain division, subdivision we're looking to, you know, invest in. And maybe there may be 20 homes in that area that may come to a couple $1 million. And then, you know, I'll let Sheri know, hey, with you and your network and your team and with your company internally, hey, come in and partner with us and, you know, let's scale this thing higher because, you know, we're stronger together and we can, it's a further reach. At the end of the day, you know, it's very challenging to acquire 20 properties that you can buy 30 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents on the dollar. You know, most people can only pick up 1 to 3, but as a group and with, you know, the individuals on this phone, maybe collectively we can pick up 10, you know? So, you know, individually as an equity party, yeah, you may make $100,000, $50,000 on an asset, but if we can come together on 10 deals, then you can make about $500,000.
That's good stuff, Patrick. Very good. As we wrap up, guys, I did put a question in the chat if you can share what state you're from, just so that they know the span. I just thought of it now. So if you can put that in, that would be great. Or you can come off mute and share where you are.
Mhm.
So of course, Chicago here. Illinois.
That's all I'm gonna say. Chicago not a state, but we in Illinois.
I know. Look,
Florida.
Chicago's a state.
In the
We
state
got
of Florida, it's the
Florida.
Sunshine State.
Yeah, there you go.
Wonderful.
Representing Florida.
Welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you all for the opportunity to
We
present
got
the
other
same.
folks on here that's not saying what state they from.
Yeah.
Where you from, Micah?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
All
There you go.
right. And Jackie, is it Jackie Lofton?
Jacquees.
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 Oh, she's from Florida. She put in
Oh,
the
from
chat.
Florida. Oh, okay. I didn't see
Yeah.
that. Awesome. Got some good Florida representation. Yep, we're here in Florida. Excellent.
Andrea, where are you?
Andrea actually is on our team. She's with our team.
Oh, okay.
So Florida. So we got
Awesome,
some good
awesome.
representation. Well, I am more than happy to come back and share more and go more in depth on any particular topic.